Just before I get into this review of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I just wanted to say that this is not a preview screening of the film. This film is released where I am, and I have seen it twice.
There's a mole right at the top of the circus. He's been there for years.
I get to be a little bit smug now, don't I? I should be allowed. Everywhere else in the world films come out, but when something comes out in Britain first, it's special. And it seems it's great to be British in terms of films, not just for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but this year in general. And that's about the only thing we can be proud of right now. For the intro I said I'd seen the film twice, and the reason why that is because the first time I came out the film, I went, wow, great scenes, I just don't get it. There are parts of this film where it goes from this point to this point without the middle part. It really demands your concentration and doesn't feed you all the answers. And that's why I think when the film actually goes across to America in December, we're going to have a lot of people uploading videos, won't say their names, and they will be complaining. The main reason why people are going to be a little bit let down by Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and a bit annoyed with the film is down to the fact that it has that word spy in it. So they immediately think Bourne and Bond and thriller. Actually, this is 127 minutes of drama. The plot is incredibly simple yet inherently complex. As I said, the plot, it's inherently simple on paper. George Smiley, played by Gary Oldman instead of Alec Guinness this time round, has come out of retirement to find out a mole that is at the top of the circus, which is MI5. That's the entire plot. You need to know nothing else about the film. You don't need to understand anything else apart from that. It's George Smiley and there's a mole. And all you really need to know is it's about 5 men trying to outwit each other. This is how I would describe the entire experience. On a second time viewing of the film, it would be like if Sergio Leone ever made a spy film. It's like the last 20 or 30 minutes of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly, where we have the three-way standoff. But it's like that for 127 minutes. Maybe the fact that I say that the film is kind of reminiscent of Sergio Leone is maybe I'm not giving Thomas Alfredson the right respect for what he's actually done, or maybe it's actually a huge... Because what Thomas Alfredson has done, the director of the one and only Let the Right One In, desecrated by the one and only awful Let Me In, he's basically set the mood for Tinker Tailor and a spy film and a British film in general completely perfect. It's down to the Scandinavian influences of the 1970s suburban drama that is in Let the Right One In, mixed in with a bit of Mike Leigh, and all the way down to the horrible wallpaper that was really the staple of 1970s Britain. And his cinematographer, Hoyt von Hoytman, is perfectly able to get the mood of despair and dread and melancholia right the way through this film, and it's stunning to look at, even though some may say, hey, King's Speech BBC TV drama of the week. You've also got the astounding cast of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy that brings something, so you have director and stars actually bringing something to this John le Carre adaptation. So we have Gary Oldman as George Smiley, Colin Firth as Bill Hayden, Tom Hardy as Ricky Tarr, John Hurt as Control, Toby Jones as Percy Alloy, Mark Strong, Jim Perdue, Benedict Cumberbatch, Peter Gilliam, Serene Hind as Roy Bland, and David DeNick as Toby Esterhazy. The things I think are really great about the film is that the fact that it's a film about characters, and it's a film about narrative, and it's a film that is just really well constructed, and I'm just really happy to see a film like this that has this type of cinematography, that has this story, which has this complex narrative, where instead of bullets for what some may conceive as a thriller, it's fighting with words. That's ballsy, and that's brave to do nowadays. And on its own, this film has more memorable scenes than any film this year, even more memorable than my favourite film of the year, which is 13 Assassins. One criticism that everyone seems to keep on saying about Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is that through the film, you don't really get to know the characters very well. The film is centred around George Smiley, and this is why I think it can be addressed, down to the fact that he has to take everything at face value. It's down to mannerisms, what people do now and not what they did then, and basically their facial expressions. That's down to great performers, great writing, and I think if we knew that someone had been in Russia at one point That could just lead to them all cut the film by an hour, and you wouldn't have any of the suspense or the atmosphere to the film. I still have quibbles about the ending. The last 5 minutes will keep you thinking. Believe me, it doesn't slow down until the very, very end. I mean the last 10 seconds of the film. But it's one of those films you'll want to rewatch again, be it that you don't get it the first time or you think, I just really want to see that again. And by my terms, that's usually a good sign of a film.